Every day, you unlock your phone, open your favorite apps, and instantly stream, shop, post, or search. It feels seamless, like everything you do happens effortlessly in the cloud. But behind that word lies one of the most complex, energy-hungry, and rapidly expanding industries on Earth. Because the cloud isn't floating anywhere, it's very real. A global network of enormous data centers built by US tech giants like Amazon, Google, and Microsoft. And the scale of what's happening behind the scenes is staggering. We're talking about warehouse-sized facilities filled with millions of servers running 24/7, consuming vast amounts of electricity, generating heat, and housing the world's most valuable asset, your data. And now, as AI demands skyrocket, the quiet infrastructure behind your apps is transforming into one of the most powerful and controversial forces in modern technology. Let's start with a simple truth. The cloud is the backbone of everything. Every email you send, every TikTok you scroll, every Zoom call you join, every file you back up, all of it lives inside physical machines somewhere. Those machines are stacked in rows, cooled by enormous ventilation systems, and guarded behind layers of security. They stretch for hundreds of thousands of square feet and cost billions to build. The biggest players in this game, Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud, control more than 65% of the global cloud infrastructure. And they're building at a pace that's hard to imagine. Every few weeks, a new data center comes online somewhere in the US Midwest or Southwest. Each one adds to a growing digital empire, one that quietly keeps the modern world running. But here's what most people don't realize. The cloud isn't just growing, it's exploding. The rise of AI has turned data centers from back-end utilities into frontline production hubs. Every new AI model, from ChatGPT to Gemini, runs on the same infrastructure that powers your apps. Only it demands thousands of times more computing power. That means the cloud is being rebuilt from the inside out. Companies are ripping out old servers and replacing them with AI-optimized chips. They're upgrading cooling systems from fans to liquid immersion tanks. They're redesigning buildings to handle unprecedented heat output. In short, the cloud is mutating into something new, an AI engine that fuels everything from consumer apps to national defense. And that transformation comes with an enormous cost, one that few outside the industry ever see. First, there's the energy. A single large data center can use as much power as 100,000 homes. Multiply that by hundreds of sites across the US, and you begin to understand why utilities are struggling to keep up. States like Virginia, Texas, and Iowa are experiencing what experts call a data surge, an unprecedented spike in electricity demand tied directly to tech expansion. Power companies are racing to build new plants, while renewable energy projects can't scale fast enough to meet the demand. The result? A hidden infrastructure arms race between big tech and the US energy grid. Second, there's water. Data centers get hot, incredibly hot, and they rely on massive amounts of water for cooling. Some facilities use millions of gallons per day, often drawn from municipal systems shared with nearby towns. In drought-prone areas like Arizona or Utah, that's raising real tensions between tech expansion and local sustainability. Because the more data we generate, the more water and power it takes to keep that data alive. And then there's location. Data centers can't be built just anywhere. They need reliable power, stable weather, and access to fiber optic networks. That's why the US heartland, especially states like Iowa, Ohio, and Nebraska, has become the epicenter of the cloud. These regions offer cheap energy, open land, and favorable tax deals. In return, big tech brings jobs and infrastructure investment. But critics argue it's a trade-off. Towns gain short-term growth but give up long-term independence, as much of the economic benefit flows back to corporate headquarters in Silicon Valley or Seattle. Some call it digital colonization, the idea that America's new data economy is expanding the same way the industrial economy once did, extracting local resources for global profit. And what about security? You might think the cloud is safe, that your data is locked away somewhere invisible. But with so much information concentrated in a handful of corporate data centers, the stakes couldn't be higher. These facilities are heavily guarded with biometric access, cameras, and redundant power systems. Yet cyber attacks, supply chain vulnerabilities, and even physical sabotage remain growing risks. Government agencies, banks, hospitals, and tech companies all depend on the same cloud infrastructure. That means a single breach or outage could ripple across the entire economy, from stock markets to transportation systems. In 2024 alone, several high-profile cloud incidents briefly disrupted major online services, exposing how fragile our always-on digital world can really be. But here's the paradox. Despite the risks, the world is becoming more dependent on the cloud than ever. AI, automation, and digital business models all rely on centralized computing. Even the smallest startup depends on cloud APIs and AI tools hosted by the same few providers. We've reached a point where the cloud isn't just a platform. It's infrastructure for civilization. Think about that. The global economy now runs on data centers most people never see. The average person's daily life, work, entertainment, finances, depends on the constant hum of these machines. And as AI systems evolve, the cloud will shift from storing information to making decisions, analyzing, predicting, and acting faster than humans can. That's not the future. It's already here. So what does this mean for the average user? It means every time you use an app, you're tapping into a vast, invisible world. One that's quietly shaping economics, politics, and even climate policy. It means the convenience of instant access comes at the cost of enormous physical and environmental complexity. And it means the companies that control the cloud, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, now hold a kind of influence once reserved for nations. They don't just store data, they define the flow of information itself. The irony is that this entire system is designed to feel weightless. A simple click, a seamless sync, a promise of infinite capacity. But behind that illusion is one of the largest industrial machines humanity has ever built. A planetary-scale network consuming vast energy to keep your digital life running smoothly. So next time you hear someone say, "It's in the cloud," remember this. It's not floating anywhere. It's sitting on the ground, humming, glowing, and expanding, 1 megawatt at a time. And as AI continues to grow, that invisible world beneath your apps may soon become the most important infrastructure on Earth. Because in the digital age, the power that matters most isn't in our hands. It's in the clouds we never see.